What's up, family? Welcome back to Stop the Cap, the podcast where we protect the culture, honor our history, and speak truth to power. I'm your girl, Tasha.
And I'm Jay, back at it with fire in our hearts and facts in our hands. And y'all, today's episode, it's urgent, it's necessary, and it's about a direct attack on us, our history, our culture, our legacy.
On March 27, 2025, Donald Trump signed an executive order that basically says this: telling the truth about America's racist past is divisive, and museums like the Smithsonian that highlight the realities of slavery, oppression, and Black excellence are now distorting American history.
Y'all, this ain't just about museums. This is about erasing our contributions, silencing our pain, and rebranding American history to make oppression look like patriotism. We're going to take a quick break so we can adjust the acoustics in the studio. They trying to block us, y'all, but not on our watch. We'll be right back. Welcome back, family. Today, we're unpacking something urgent. An executive order from the Trump administration that's not just political, it's cultural warfare. We're talking about a targeted attack on the truth of American history, especially Black history.
That's right. The new order says it's about restoring pride in America and fighting so-called revisionist history. But let's be clear, this isn't about truth. It's about erasing the truth and replacing it with a sanitized, one-sided story. A story where oppression gets brushed under the rug and where Black excellence, struggle, and contribution are conveniently left out.
Exactly. The executive order goes after museums, especially the Smithsonian, accusing them of pushing a divisive, race-centered ideology. They specifically mention exhibits like The Shape of Power and Content from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Why? Because they dare to speak the truth about how race has been used in America.
Right. And I want to pause on that part because it's deep. When they attack exhibits that explain how race is a social construct, they're going after one of the most important truths of our time. That race isn't a biological fact. It's something that was created by society to justify slavery, colonization, and systemic injustice. There is no scientific evidence that says Black people are inferior. None. Race was built to divide, to dominate, to control.
Preach. And when they talk about sculpture being used to promote scientific racism, they're referencing how art and pseudoscience were weaponized against us.
Yeah, back in the 1800s, so-called scientists measured skulls of African people and claimed smaller sizes meant lower intelligence. They created statues and imagery that exaggerated our features to paint us as less human, less civilized. That's what scientific racism looked like. Fake science, real harm. And now this executive order says telling that truth is divisive.
But here's the real deal. The lie is what's divisive. The truth is what brings healing.
Exactly. And if we can't talk about how systems of power were built, how can we dismantle them? If we can't tell the truth about the past, how can we change the future?
This ain't just about museums, y'all. This is about our children, our classrooms, our legacy. When they erase the struggle, they erase the strength. When they silence the truth, they silence us.
And we refuse to be silent. Coming up in segment 2, we'll break down what this order could mean for education, policy, and public funding, and how we the people can fight back.
Don't go anywhere. The truth is under fire, but we came ready to defend it.
When funding becomes a weapon.
All right, y'all, welcome back. In segment 1, we broke down how this executive order targets the truth about race, history, and culture. But let's go even deeper, because this ain't just about museums. This is about power and control.
Exactly. Let's talk dollars and decisions. This order gives the Vice President and the Office of Management and Budget the authority to control where money goes. They're literally saying that federal funds, your tax dollars, can't be used on any exhibit or program that divides Americans based on race.
Let's decode that real quick. Divide Americans based on race is political code. It doesn't mean stop racism. It means stop talking about racism. It means no funding for projects that acknowledge systemic injustice, slavery, segregation, or the ongoing effects of white supremacy.
That's right. And if institutions like the Smithsonian, which belong to the people, can only get funding by ignoring Black history, then what's the cost of that silence?
Our story, our struggle, our truth. That's what's on the chopping block. And don't think it stops at museums. If this mindset makes it into our schools, our libraries, our textbooks, our kids will be growing up in a version of America that looks nothing like reality.
Let's not forget, history shapes identity. If young Black boys and girls don't see themselves represented with truth, dignity, and power, they'll start to internalize the lie. And if white students never learn the truth about injustice, how can they ever be allies in change?
It's all intentional, fam. This executive order is part of a broader effort to rewrite history in a way that makes racism invisible, erases our contributions, and glorifies oppression as progress. It's not just about pride. It's about power.
And we see through it, because this isn't new. There's a long legacy of trying to silence us, from banning our languages during slavery to censoring our authors today, from tearing down our statues to now trying to erase our exhibits.
But the truth is louder, stronger, and it doesn't go away, even when they defund it, even when they bury it.
That's why we have to amplify it on social media, in our schools, around our dinner tables. We have to protect our institutions, our educators, our historians, and our storytellers.
Because if they're using money as a weapon, we got to use community as a shield. We got to show up, speak up, and support Black-led spaces that are telling the whole truth.
Coming up in segment 3, we're going to talk strategy, what we can do right now to push back, get organized, and make sure this generation doesn't lose access to the truth our ancestors fought so hard to preserve.
Because silence is not an option. Stay with us. We're just getting started.
Protect the truth, push back, power up.
All right, y'all. This is the part where we shift from breakdown to breakthrough. We know what's happening. This executive order is part of a full-scale erasure strategy. But the question is, now what? What can we do?
Look, we don't just talk about problems on this show. We build solutions. So let's talk about what we can do right now to protect our truth, defend our legacy, and make sure this attempt to silence our story doesn't succeed. Step 1, get educated and stay woke. First, know what they're doing. This isn't about making America unified. It's about making America amnesic. If you know what's happening, you can't be manipulated. So stay up on policies, support independent Black media, and read the full story, not just the headlines.
And share what you learn, because silence spreads ignorance, but truth spreads power. Make it plain in your group chats, your classrooms, your churches, wherever people gather.
Step 2, speak up, loudly and publicly.
Y'all, now is the time to call your reps, flood their inboxes, show up at school board meetings and town halls. We cannot let this become normal. Demand that our public institutions, museums, schools, libraries, reflect the full truth, not a sanitized version.
If they hear from us consistently, they'll know we're watching. And remember, they work for us. If they don't serve our kids, our stories, or our values, we vote them out.
Step 3. Support Black-led institutions.
We have spaces that already honor our truth. Black-owned bookstores, Black history museums, community-led education programs. Support them with your dollars, your time, your voice, because when public funding is used against us, we become the funding.
Donate, volunteer, amplify, because those spaces may not have federal backing, but they've always had the soul of our people. Step 4. Empower our youth. They're targeting what our children learn. So we have to be the counter-narrative. Talk to your kids about the truth. Give them books that center our heroes, our struggles, our triumphs. Make your home a place where identity is affirmed and history is told right.
And if you're an educator, stand firm. Don't shrink the truth. Find creative ways to keep history alive, even when policy tries to silence it. Final thoughts and call to action. Fam, this executive order is an alarm bell. It's not just a policy, it's a cultural weapon. But we've seen this before. We've overcome worse. And every time they tried to bury us, we built something greater.
This is the moment where we decide, do we let them steal our story or do we rise up and protect it with everything we've got?
Our ancestors did not survive centuries of erasure for us to be silent now. Our stories built this country. Our blood fertilized its soil. Our brilliance powered its rise.
And now we fight, not just for memory, but for our future. If you're listening right now, we challenge you. Pick one thing from today and take action this week.
Because when we protect our truth, we protect our power. And Black history, Black culture, Black presence is American history. And we will not let it be erased.
This is Stop the Cap, where truth meets action. We'll see you next time. Stay strong, stay sharp, and stay unapologetically Black.